In the following video, I'm going to show you how to set up Eclipse and JUnit for project 1. Okay, so the first step, to create a project, I'm going to switch to Eclipse, then select File, New, Java Project, and I have to type in the project name, so I'm going to use Project 1 Demo, and then click Next. A new project is there, so now I can just say Finish. So we're done with step 1. So then the next step is to include the jar file. We need to go to the assignment page, and if you scroll down to the end, then you can see the link to the jar file is here, and we have to save the jar file into the project folder. Blank. So if you click, you have to use your name project to fill in the blank here, and then go all the way down to let me go back to Eclipse, and every time you create a new class of the project, Eclipse, then you have to make sure that you keep the file under the SRC folder. So then you know the place where to save the jar file. And if I click cancel, go back to my browser and right click on the jar file, and I want to save link as, and then this is when I need to go to my project folder. Currently I'm in downloads, and of course I have to go to the project folder under my new directory under project 1 demo. So that's my Eclipse project, and I want to click save, but you're not going to see the file immediately because you have to refresh your project. And the way to do it is just right click and select refresh. So we are done with step 2. The next step is to add the jar file into the build path of Eclipse. Right click and build path, add to build path. So then I'm hoping that you learned from here that right clicking is used a lot in Eclipse. So now you will see the two folders under my project, the GRE system library and reference libraries. So I'm done with the first 2 steps. Then I will continue to step number 3 to create the simple date. So I just highlight the SRC, right click, and then new class, and you have to type in the file name, which is simple date, and you want to type your last name. Now before I click finish, then I want to add the simple date interface that is required by the project online document. So then if I just type IS, then Eclipse is smart enough to tell you there is an interface. So then if I click simple date interface, and if I just press OK, and at this point I can click finish. So now some magic will happen behind the scene. Now you can see automatically Eclipse will include the import line, and the class simpleDate Dulimarta is a class that implements iSimpleDate interface. And you don't have to write a lot because Eclipse is smart enough to know that the iSimpleDate interface asks you to provide all these methods. So we are almost done with step 3. If you go back to the assignment page, like step 4, Eclipse automatically creates the shell for you, but then it's not going to add the constructors and the static methods. So then you have to manually add the constructors and the static methods. So if you go to Kerma's simple date, and here you will see the two constructors. So the first one is a constructor that takes 3 integer parameters, month, day, and year. And the second constructor takes a string. So we need to add the two constructors to my class. Public, simple date, and the first constructor takes 3 parameters, month, day, and year. The second constructor, simple date, takes a string. Okay, so then the two constructors are in, and the next is to add static methods in simple date. So the first one is here. So let me go to the end of the class, and I need to include public static 2-digit year, and it takes no parameter, but the method must return an integer. So at this point we can just say return 0. And the other static method that we have to add is leap year, and I want to say public, and this is a Boolean method, so then I have to include a return statement in the body of this method, and then for now I will just say return false. And we have another static method, set min 2-digit year. Public static, and this method takes a parameter. Probably I need to include another static method, days in year. And I want to make this public, and again the method is an int method, so then we have to include a return statement, and I just say return 0. So I think we are all set for all the static methods. So now we can continue to step 4, which is to include the test file. What we need to do is save link as, and make sure anytime you save a Java file, the file has to go into the src folder, and then click save. Refresh. Okay, so the test file is there. We have a lot of errors. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to rename the file. The test file assumes that the simple date name is simple date xxx, but in fact the actual name of the simple date is simple date my last name. So what we need to do is we need to replace all simple date xxx with simple date Duli Marta. So let me go to edit, find, replace. So find simple date xxxx, replace it with simple date Duli Marta, and I need to say replace all. You can see we still have errors in here. So let's check the count. So we have 38 errors. Anytime you see a red marker here, red box, then you can just click. It will take you directly to the error line. So what is missing is that we need to rename the file. So the error says the public type simple date Duli Marta test must be defined in its own file. So if you remember, one of the rules in Java is that the file name has to match the class name. So the file name is simpledate xxxx test, but the class name is simpledate dulimarta test. We need to rename the file from simpledate xxx test to simpledate dulimarta test. So let me use refactor rename, and then I want to rename my file to simpledate dulimarta test. Click OK. If I click the first red box, the error says iSimpleDate cannot be resolved to a type. The thing is because we need to import iSimpleDate. So how do I fix this error? If you move the mouse, there's an option here to import iSimpleDate. Select the first choice. Okay, so all the red boxes are gone. That means we're good. So what is next? So after I include simpledate test, and the rest is just to run JUnit. And running JUnit is easy. Highlight the test file, and then if you right click, and you will select run as JUnit test. Okay, so we're good. So this is what you have to show me for the first milestone in project 1.